Hey guys, welcome to the video. Salt here. Today I'll be going over the brand new melee weapon, the Tonkkatt. The Tonkkatt became available in the recent Galleon of Ghouls event. So before we start, let's go over our first and top commenter board. So the first and top commenter of the last video is actually the same person. It's Roar XD2NEP4Me9360. And we'll go over our recent channel supporters here of Nice Bear, Colonel Suro 6, and Alfofo. Thank you so much for your support. Okay, let's go over unique and interesting things about the Tonkkatt. It has a unique trait here in that increasing combo multiplier grants plus 4% heat damage for 15 seconds, stacking up to 30 times. So this is 120% heat total. Now we're going to talk about this for a bit. So first, to maintain this buff, you will need to dump your melee combo after a few seconds once you're at 12 times combo. And it's because just sitting at 12 times will not trigger this buff. You actually need to be gaining combo for this to trigger. So this requires a different type of build to maintain this weapon's very unique trait. And there's always going to be an opportunity cost to deviating from your standard max damage build. So let's quickly go over what you gain from this trait versus what you lose from it. So first, what do we gain? We gain 120% heat added to our possible status procs. That sounds good, but let me explain. This weapon is already slash heavy, meaning you are often producing slash procs that completely bypass armor. By adding the 120% heat to the status chart, we actually will be producing less than half of the slash procs we were in favor of heat procs. Also keep in mind that since we need to often dump our combo, Blood Rush and Weeping Wounds will most of the time be hovering around 75% of the power they normally provide, further causing loss in both heat and slash procs. So really, we gain 120% status chance on the weapon. That does increase damage of individual hits by a small amount. And probably what the best gain is that the arcane melee influence can carry and spread the added heat, which is actually really the only big positive to this trait. But let's go over what we lose next. Since we need to dump our combo, we can't be heavy attacking for free. So we lose our Tonkkatt mod, which is usually good in frequent bursts of damage. Next, instead of the 60-60 electric that we usually use, we have to use focus energy. That way, when we do dump our combo, we're not completely zeroing ourselves out. We'll still be at 5 times with this. But this does mean we lose the 60% status chance from the 60-60 we would usually use. Next, in our attack speed slot, which would normally be either Berserker Fury for 70% attack speed or Gladiator Vice for 30% attack speed and 110% crit chance, we need to instead consider using Quickening for the extra combo count gain to rebuild back to 12 times quicker after we dump our combo. So we're losing out on either of those two better mods. Now, this slot here, I think out of all the changes, this is the one spot where you can consider not changing it, especially if you're okay with adding the Naramon operator opening slams every 20 to 30 seconds. So this one's a little bit optional and up to you. Next, Blood Rush and Weeping Wounds usually is able to just sit at 12 times and get maximum value with 440% crit chance and 440% status chance. But since we need to dump combo and refill it frequently, you could really only expect these to be at around about 75-ish% of their normal value, what they provide, meaning we lose crit chance and status chance. And finally, what's not obvious here, but will become obvious when you use it, is that this adds a buff that you need to track and maintain on top of what you're already doing with your Warframe, adding needless complexity. So let's sum this up. We lose Tonkkatt, we lose 60% status chance, we possibly lose a better attack speed mod, we lose about 100-ish% on average crit chance and status chance with Blood Rush and Weeping Wounds, more than half of our slash procs get replaced by heat procs, and we add unneeded complexity to the weapon. And what do we gain? Well, we gain melee influence carrying over heat when it procs. I don't know who at DE designed this weapon, but it's obvious they don't play the game. Maybe they hoped YouTubers and streamers would just blindly glaze it and create hype for more views, but I won't be doing that. Now, I do think there are a couple of Warframes that can make this a little bit better. Some Warframes get innate heavy attack efficiency or different things regarding their combo, but for 95% or more of other Warframes, this is mediocre at best, and you'd be better off running most other melee weapons in the game. Alrighty, now that I've properly trashed the weapon and most people have clicked off of this, let's go over how to build it if you really want to. So first, we're going to start with Focus Energy for electric and heavy attack efficiency, Galvanized Steel for critical chance and critical damage, Organ Shatter for critical damage, Gladiator Might for critical chance and critical damage, Condition Overload for flat damage, Quickening for attack speed and combo gain. Again, you can consider still using either Berserker Fury or Gladiator Vice here, especially if you're okay doing the Naramon Operator opening slam often. Blood Rush for crit chance, Weeping Wounds for status chance. In the stance slot, you have two options for stances, but I do think in the case for Tonfa's, Sovereign Outcast is a lot better than the other option. In the Exilus slot, we won't be picking a Tennokai, and instead we're just going to be using Dispatch Overdrive for a movement speed buff, which is just kind of nice, I guess. And in the Arcane slot, Melee Influence is really the only saving grace for this weapon, so it has to be used here. One more thing I wanted to briefly go over was the Naramon Operator Opening Slam. We're going to go into the Naramon School here, and it's going to be this node right here. Quickly switching to your operator and slamming on the ground will trigger a 20-second buff that grants double combo gain, eliminating the need for that quickening attack speed mod, and you could go with one of the better ones like Gladiator Vice or Berserker Fury instead. This is how you build out the new melee weapon, the Tonkkatt. I hope you liked it, or at least liked my honesty about it, and if you did, please consider leaving a like and subscribing for future content. So now we'll have a 5-minute gameplay portion showcasing the weapon, and when we come back, I'll give you its final ranking. All right, I'll see you guys after the gameplay. All right, let's get this gameplay going. We have our Lewis Circulus here. We'll do our little 5-minute gameplay portion. And I'm also going to kind of showcase how to do that Naramon Slam. I'm sure a lot of people know how to do it already and probably already do it. But for people that don't know, it's actually quite easy. You just have to remember to do it. That's the biggest thing. And I find the easiest way for me to remember to do it is I do a heavy slam to dump my combo, and then immediately after I will I'll do that Naramon Slam. So we'll see. Once I get to 12 times here, you could actually sit at 12 times for a bit. You could sit at 12 times for, well, technically 15 seconds, but another kind of negative is that your stacks will all go away at once. So don't risk it too much. I'll dump it usually at 10 seconds in, right here. Switch, do another slam, bam, I've activated it. So now I'm trying to get back up to 12 here. Once we get up to 12, we'll sit there for about 10 seconds. Again, you can sit there for 15 at 12 times. It's just that, yeah, don't go past 15 because then you'll lose all your stacks. So I usually dump it 10 seconds after. So Naramon, slam. It's just the weapon is very busy. You know, I'm playing on a Naros where I'm not using any other abilities. But if I was playing any other Warframe and I needed to manage other buffs and stuff, why am I going to choose this weapon that I have to do a bunch of other things? It's very weird. Even the Warframes that it combos better with, I think Varuna has innate heavy efficiency. I think Kalervo does, I think, maybe. Even them, this is still mediocre. It's very weird. I messed up that Naramon Slam there. It's alright. It's alright. I guess there's supposed to be another free weapon coming out. Maybe next week or maybe after this event ends. I'm not really sure exactly when. We got about 2 more minutes left. Yeah, the Naramon Slam is very easy to do. Honestly, the hardest thing is remembering to do it. That's really it. Remembering to do the Naramon Slam is the hardest thing about it. And again, you don't have to do the whole Naramon thing. If you don't want to, though, I do recommend using quickening because it will make it quicker to get back up to 12 times. Right now, I'm actually using both. So, like, if you want like a reference for how they both look together, like this gameplay you can look at here. All right, we're back at 12 times, or almost. Where's all the enemies at? Where are they at here? All right, we're at 12 times. We'll sit here for like 10 seconds, and then I'll dump it. We got the Acolyte coming. Melees are always good against the Acolyte. This is going to be good against the Acolyte, just like every other. Did I dump it on the Acolyte? I'll dump it on him. Bam! There we go. That Naramon Slam here. All right, 12 times. Sit here for a little bit, try to get some kills, although... Where are the enemies? They're hiding. All right, so that's 5 minutes in here. Well, let me get the Thraxes actually while I'm here. Might as well. Try not to embarrass myself with my rat black aim. There we go. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and end it right here. Welcome back, guys. So let's go over how the Tonkkatt did in its Steel Path Circulus 10-minute runs. Again, melees are harder to rank because they all almost always get 1,100 kills and over in 10 minutes. And also at about the 1,200 mark, you start having the issue where it's more about the enemy spawns being too slow, or enemies getting to you is just a little bit too slow. So it's less about the weapon and more about the slow spawns. And so when we rank melees, we just simply give them a pass or a fail. Did they hit 1,100 and over, or did they not? And in the case of the Tonkkatt, it did hit 1,100 and over. So for that reason, I don't think I can rank it under average or B, since it actually achieved its kill per minute mark. But then again, most melee weapons hit 1,100 or over. I think even the Ghoul Saw did. So it's not really special. And its trait is cumbersome, adding needless complexity for almost no payoff and questionably even making the weapon worse. Again, I think if it's paired with those few Warframes that have innate heavy attack efficiency, it could be mediocre at best, but that's it. So I'll be giving it a B ranking, but a very low B. I'm really tempted to give it a C here. That's my take. Tell me what you guys think. Again, thanks for watching, and I hope you guys have an amazing day. All right, bye.